Oh, I did it again. I've been practicing that air part. I think I got it down that time. I looked pretty real, didn't it, Colleen? I think I got it. I think I got it that one time. Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. My name is Chase Steele Gray. You have joined us on the day known as Wednesday, where we speak about health, wellness, vitality, longevity, all kinds of things that are great for the body and the soul and the spirit, of course. Today, we have a special guest. She's family to me. Because her sister and I traveled the world as entertainers. She's someone that I really just, what's the word? Respect highly and love. And she has a great love. She has a great family that you all would love to meet because they're all just so great personalities from Nashville, Tennessee. And you know what? Sorrel, please read the amazing bio of this lovely woman, if you would, please.
I certainly will. It's always my honor to introduce greatness. So as I introduce Colleen Davie James, I want you to listen to every word.
Every word.
Pretend I'm introducing you, because she is everything you want to be.
Yes.
Colleen's
like
a multi-award winning feature film and TV director with a recent placement as a semi-finalist in Shondaland SeriesFest director contest, with a penchant for crafting stories that dare to straddle the realms of comedy and drama. She's drawn to message-oriented ideas where characters will embody resilience and hope in the face of adversity. She excels at ensemble, fast-paced explorations of the darker side of human conditions. Yes, I love that dark side. With a nod to the absurd, but also appreciates the opportunity to slow down and truly explore the moments in between. Her most recent feature work has received distribution via Tubi, Out of Bounds, with Karen Obolum and Sterling Suleiman.
Yes.
Other projects can be seen on Lifetime Movie Networks, Passion Flicks, and Prime Videos. Ladies and gentlemen, you thought I was kidding when I said I was introducing great. Her short film have screened and garnered attention and award internationally, including the Oscar qualifying Holly Short Film Festival and Soho International Film Festival. Colleen's also a recipient of the New York Foundation of the Arts Artists Grant. Anonymous was a woman. Colleen is a member of Film in Primetime Network Alliance of Women Directors, and was honored by Shoot magazine at the DGA as a new director to watch. And we have the honor this morning to have her to watch and be in conversation with. Colleen,
yes.
So great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I should have shortened that bio. Thank you.
Well, you know, that's all the time we have, but we should let people know about you, and thank you so much.
Later.
Bye-bye. No, just kidding. Wow, it's so great to have you here. You know how I feel about you. You've been family to me for many years, so what a pleasure to have you here. We always have great conversations when we're off camera, and here we are on camera, right? I specifically brought you on because I always like to speak to you about the business, so on and so forth. But I see you as a force of comedy, actually. I see you as a comedic flow, a comedic energy. So I know you are multi-talented, which is incredible. But this question about how comedy can bring us optimal health, unpack that for us a little bit, but really get inside of it, maybe for someone who's not thinking about it on that level. What is your take on it?
Well, I mean, comedy. Hi, thanks, Chase. Love you. It's such a big question, right? Because
I know
is it comedy or is it humor or is it sense of humor, right? But ultimately, it's for me anyway, it's a perspective, right? It's a way of viewing things, and we can get into a rut in our life, especially if you live in New York City. We were just talking about that beforehand, where it's coming at you, and you block it, right? You close your heart because you don't feel safe for whatever reason. Maybe it's because physically it's not as safe on that corner, right? Or on that train. Right. But then we forget to open the heart back up. And again, that's just a perspective. And so, like, let's put it this way. So yesterday I was watching two turtles try to mate. So don't ask me how that came about, but I didn't actually get to watch it, but the one turtle was following the other, and they were on a driveway, and there's a little ledge off the driveway where the grass is. So girl goes down and she goes off the ledge, and boy is like, what? Why'd you go down there? Because it's a big ledge. And if a turtle flips upside down, it can't flip back over.
Finish,
right?
Yeah.
Right. So we were watching this. Actually, my family has an app, and we leave video messages. And so this is my sister-in-law leaving this. So I'm watching it like National Geographic. And I'm watching little turtle try to get to his girl. And he's going all down, up and down, up and down. And then finally he's like, whoop, and he goes over and he goes on his back, and then he flips right back onto his feet. He did a full 360, and he made it. And to me, like, that's comedy, because it's just like another perspective. It's taking the leap. It's just going, hey man, I'm either going to get it or I'm not going to get it. Right. and you got to take the risk of being joyful, and it's taking a risk. It's taking a risk, because especially right now in this world, and the thing for me, I always know I'm safe. So that's probably the hard part for most people, in terms of humor and being silly and being joyful. You feel judged, right? You feel like people are going to look at you funny. And I mean, I'm guilty as charged a lot of the time, right? As I move up in the world, people don't necessarily want silly Colleen at the table. They want professional, but I have to keep the lightness. I have to keep the lightness. Otherwise I'm not being real. And comedy comes from pain anyway. The best comedians are also the best dramatic actors, if you ask me. I mean, Jim Carrey, Steve Carell. I mean, Tina Fey's doing more drama, more comedy, but these are great actors and comedians. And you have to dig deep, and you have to feel deeply in order to find the humor. But ultimately, it's self-expression.
Right. Of course.
And so, I mean, I would just ask, if someone's living in that rut or living in that temperament of covering, right? Only if you're putting a veil, only if you're putting a veil in front of you. But if you're doing that, then you got to ask yourself, hey, who am I protecting myself from? What am I protecting myself from? Because ultimately, you're protecting yourself from life and living, I think.
Wow, that was a great opener, Colleen. I knew you would do it. I knew you would do it. Of course, you are familiar with all of the actual physical and chemical benefits that come from laughing. Just the simple act of laughing. The fact that your endorphins are released, the fact that your cortisol levels are minimized, the fact that when we laugh, our respiratory system opens up more. I mean, because I've had good laughs in front of you, and I know you've had many laughs in general. And when that happens, when we think about that moment, when we laugh so hard that our chest is hurting, we're like, oh my God, I have to sit down. Like those kind of moments. And you're like, oh, man, that is just so, it's so funny. Out of nowhere, this just came into my head. I was thinking about your friend, Carmen.
Yes, I was thinking about her yesterday. I was like, Carmen would be really good.
Carmen, I'm going to bring her on here because she would be great. And I remember watching one of her things, and she said something that was so funny. And I was by myself, and I was laughing really hard. And I think that if we think of the times when we've been in that state, where someone make us laugh so hard how we felt in that quadrant, like how difficult it may have been right before that. And then all of a sudden, the whole body just sheds all the crap. And then if you do it the right way, how you can kind of merge or segue into another part of your day. Yeah. Have you experienced, I was going to ask you, when was the last time you were actually on stage? Meaning like an open mic situation, and how did it affect you?
It's been a long time since I've done stand-up.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't even know how many years it's been. But the thing about stand-up, and I'll tell anyone this, if you feel like you want to do it, you should do it. If you're like, oh, I might try that, do it. And if you're one of those people who says, I would never do that, you should do it. No, then I say, stand-up may not be for you, right? There's improv, again, where there's other people, you might feel a little safer, but some people are drawn to it. What it is freedom, but the true freedom comes from failing, right? I did a set up in Yonkers. I don't know where this was, but when you bomb in Yonkers, nobody can hurt you. No one can hurt you.
Yonkers.
I bombed in Yonkers. It was 20 minutes of crickets. And it was a restaurant. I don't think people knew I was coming. I did 20 minutes, which was the longest set at that point I had ever done. And no one laughed one time at a joke.
Wow.
So that was me talking to myself for 20 minutes. And I left there and I was like, that feeling that you just talked about where you just shed everything. It's different. Right. Because it was complete freedom, because I was like, well, look at that. I'm still alive.
I'm still alive.
And I got through that. And here I am. No one can touch me. I just eat it on stage, But when you're having a great show and the audience is with you and it's like a wave, it's like the ocean, right? You're giving and then they're giving and you're giving and they're giving. That is an even more beautiful feeling because you're entertaining. That you're coming from the same perspective, human perspective, right? And they're getting the joke.
Right.
And it's just really fun. If anyone's done live theater, it's the same thing. You're up there, you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden the audience laughs or they're crying. You're like, all right, they're with me,
Right. There's that thing that happens. You and I have both been on stage multiple times in different ways. And I would like to try stand up. We'll get back to that. I think I would kill it. I think I'd have a great time up there. But what I was going to say was, when you're in those moments, I think we're all stand up comedians. And I say that because we are in life. We are standing up. We are speaking to people every day. And we can choose whether to entertain them or to just engage with them. Right. I play around with it all the time. And I'm sure you do too. I go to places and I just mess with people on purpose, like just to have fun with them, like someone will be at the counter and they'll be like, ringing something up and I'll be like, how are you today? And they'll be like, I'm good. I'm like, wow, you are gorgeous. They're like, thank you so much. And I'm like, am I the first person that said that today? Please tell me I'm not the first person that said that today. And all of a sudden the person lights up, like, because you see them. I want to know your take also on, when I watch comedians, I'm trying to give you a good example. This Aries Spears, the comedian. A lot of his act is made from observations of people. When you're on stage, do you tend to have your material, your shtick, your stories, or do you like to venture out into the audience, go, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's your name? Where you from? Good. That your wife? Do you like that, or is that more risky for you?
So if I was doing stand-up today, I would probably be a very different character than I was back then, right?
Agreed.
I always started with my own story, and I would pick up from the people in the audience, but it's a little dangerous. And Carmen will tell you when you have her on here, Carmen will tell you, but she's a master at it. I got to where I was really good. Because sometimes people just want to be funnier than you.
Right.
And that's a place if you're not on stage, right, that's a place of grace that we find as humans in conversation, where someone just wants to be the one that talks, someone just wants to be the funny one, someone just wants to control it, right? And that's where we go, hey, I'm just going to sit back and let you go.
Here you go. Here's the mic.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
On stage, you can't, because you can't let the audience, that, and it's usually a guy, sorry. Right. You can't let that guy win. Right. It was for me anyway at that time. It was usually
I probably agree with that. Yeah.
So I got to a place where it was really fast. He would say something, I would say something, he would say something, I would say something, boom, and it was done. And the audience would laugh at him, kinda, but if you're going to talk at a comedy show, you got to be ready to be the butt of the joke. But one of the things was I was never mean. It's not about hurting somebody or insulting them. It's just about getting out of that moment, because you got to get back to your material so that you can wrap it up on a big laugh.
Right.
You got goals here, and the goals are to make people laugh. But yeah, so I would be a different person now. And yeah, it's interesting because I think about going back to it. I doubt I would take the time. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. People say that all the time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of prep. And I also, I read something yesterday that they did this study where they just played laughter sounds, just played it for a group of people. And they monitored the brain, and the premotor cortical part of the brain prepared the face to move. I thought that was so fascinating. So when you hear laughter or you're in the laughter state, something in your brain sends a message to your face going, okay, we're about to move. Everybody get ready. Isn't that fascinating?
That is.
It didn't say when you laughed. It said hearing laughter sounds.
Yeah.
Which means that sometimes we do laugh when we hear other people laugh because it's uncomfortable that we're not laughing. How crazy is that? Like you're in a party and someone says something funny and you're in the kitchen getting some, finger food and a drink, and you come out and everyone's laughing. What do? You don't come in like this. You're like, hey, what's up? How come everybody's laughing? What's going on? You don't even know why you're laughing. And I think that's so fascinating. Like that really is fascinating when you think about it. It's like, huh.
Yeah.
Now,
go ahead.
No, just quick, and I'll let you go. I believe that works in reverse too. When you walk into a room and people are like grim, you're like,
yes,
what's going on in here? What were you going to say?
We are energetic beings, right?
That's what we do.
So we walk into a room and we feel the energy, whether we are aware that that's what's happening or not. But the laughter part, what that brought to mind in terms of the brain prepping the face.
Yeah.
There's been study, and now I'm going to completely butcher this, but it's the same thing. You're like, if you're sitting on a couch and you're like, I am going to get up and I'm going to go to the kitchen in a second. I am going to do that. I'm going to get up. Your body, your brain, I'm totally butchering this, but your brain knows when you're going to get up, like subconsciously, even that you can be like, I'm going to go, but your body knows it's not going to go. There's a communication happening.
Yeah.
And then finally, when you do go, if you think about that split second when you go, your brain knew that you weren't going to do it any other moment until that moment. It's really weird.
I believe that. I totally believe that. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the other thing I was going to say about the feeling of laughter. What I think it is, in that feeling of, again, we're energy. So it's almost like the body leaves you and the energy stays when we're in that joy, that fun.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think that's heart-brain coherence happening, because heart-brain coherence just feels like love and joy. And so when your heart and your brain are actually functioning together, I think that's the state we always want to be in, right? It's just a matter of remembering to get there on a regular.
Your heart and your brain are functioning together. I love that sentence so much. And we've been there. We've all been there at isolated times in our life. But I think it's quite challenging to be there consistently or all the time. Absolutely. That's just what I feel. And I'm definitely on the high optimist level on all of these kind of behaviors. But I think about, you brought up earlier, speaking about the pain, the other side from the laughter And the first person that came to my mind when you said that was Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know a Robin Williams in my life who will remain nameless at this particular juncture.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, that side of this person is so powerful when it's like, woo, when it's flying and then it goes, and it hits the ground. And I'm like, wow, you know, like, how do you, I feel like it seems like a lot of work for the person to always try to hide the pain and stay up here and then slam and then come down, right? And then, you know, certain people, I don't know, the first person that comes to my mind is Michael Jackson. You see him on the stage, he is electric. And then you see him in an interview and he's like, well, I'm really not. And you're like, wow. And so I wonder this kind of area between optimal euphoria and I'm just here trying to survive.
Yeah.
I know you've experienced some of that in your own life, but do you feel like now in this part of your life, you're a little bit closer to a happier side based on your involvement with all these different things, with theater, with film? Or, I mean, you know, you can be as honest as you feel you need to be for this. It's kind of a deep question, but how do you feel about that concept and where you are with it?
My journey has been to be the most authentic me I can be in all circumstances. That does, you know, it's like I was saying before, it's sometimes hard to be your silly self. You don't want to bring your silly self to the directing table, right? Where you're meeting the executives, but you do want them to know that you have a sense of humor, that you're a fun person to hang out with in Video Village, and that you also know what you're doing, right?
Right.
But so I do the work of Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you know this.
I love Joe Dispenza. Supernatural, my boy.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And so I do his meditations. And one of the things for me that I had been working on was to free up my fifth center, which is your voice, right? And your freedom and speaking. And and so that's my focus right now, because I've been here long enough to know that it's really not worth it to be small in this world. So I would say, you know, though more so, I think that I don't have manic episodes. I don't go up and then way down. I don't have that.
Right.
I'm not Robin Williams. You know, he was a beast in a good way. Right. And I'm fully admit I'm not the genius of Michael Jackson. I'm just somebody who's trying to tell stories that have a message that might give you another way of looking at the world. And I do it, I think, just my temperament, who I am is through humor, because of that family you mentioned that I have, that you are a part of.
Awesome family. Awesome.
I come from a really big family and I had to keep up. You know, there's a lot of siblings and they are very funny.
They are very funny. Wow.
So you got to keep up. But I've also become much more grounded, and, you know, I guess I listen more than I used to. So I mean, I don't know about the space in between. It's been hard for a lot of us in this creative world. Like, you know, the strikes happen and it's all very slow. Correct. And it's a really important time for people to try to find something that does make them laugh, that does lighten them, that, you know, whether it's a person you hang out with, because usually it's about getting away from the people you hang out with and finding someone else, or being alone, you know, finding joy in your own presence.
You said it. You said it so well. I want to see if anyone has any questions for Colleen before she slides away like the wind. Anyone at all? You can chime in and just open up your mic.
Chase. Can you hear me?
Ahead. Yes, go right ahead.
Hey, Colleen. Thank you.
Sure.
Tell me, what is it about your work that you love the most right now?
Well, right now, I actually am in love with the journey of up-leveling, which is also painful. But again, the unknown is scary, but I'm trying to learn that the unknown is where we generally always are. So right now, I'm in hopefully, a transition up in terms of storytelling. So I've been making certain kinds of movies. I'll probably keep making those kinds of movies, but as my bio says, I'm message oriented, and I very much want to I want to be able to connect with people who have stories that resonate with me, that I think will resonate with the masses. And a lot of it is this kind of stuff we're talking about, right? At Heartbrain Coherence, the power of the individual. So I believe that we each have our own power, and that when we affect one other person, that ripple effect then changes a community, and that community can change the world. Right?
Wow.
So for me, I'm excited to find and maybe it's I'm writing it, I don't know, but to find those stories to be a part of, to create, so that, yeah, that's just for me, that's what's fun is like affecting people in a good way. Not because I have any better message to tell or story to tell, but I mean, that's what entertainment is, right? We just like to entertain.
Right.
Yeah. So it's finding those stories for myself to be a part of is what I'm most excited about now, which is the unknown.
Excellent.
That's awesome. Colleen,
Wow.
if you could, you said something about up leveling as if that was the challenge and the excitement at the same time.
Yeah.
What does up leveling look like for you?
Well, I mean, to be very basic, again, as a director, and I'm an actor, a writer, and all that. There's a lot of content in the world that you can go and watch that doesn't really, for me, doesn't do anything good. Doesn't do anything bad. It just doesn't do anything good. Except maybe take people away from their lives for a minute. So up-leveling means more powerful stories that dig deeper than the ones that I've done. It also means bigger paychecks, to be honest. And it means,
yes,
right? It means working more consistently with people who respect me and whom I respect. It's being surrounded by like-minded people. Not always, the friction is good because we learn. But up-leveling means, yeah, like the people that I'm surrounded by are like-minded in terms of that. Not changing the world, because I'm not really interested in changing the world. I'm just interested in entertaining with messages that resonate with me, because I think that they resonate with others. Yeah, nice house would be good.
Love it. Thank you, Colleen.
Sure.
amazing. Thanks for those questions. Can always count on Sorrel for great questions. Always. My good people, our time has once again had its way with us. And I'm so happy that Colleen was with us today. I'd love to have you back another time, because we have many things we can talk about in this realm of health and wellness and vitality, especially through you, such a beacon of light in the area. So, as always, as we do our outro, we go through our tenets. These are tenets that we want to stick to, live by, and keep close to us every day. One of them actually is to laugh, believe it or not. To laugh out loud, laugh uncontrollably. The other one is to give of yourself as much as you possibly can, so that the world around you feels it. Move your body as much as possible, running, biking, swimming, whatever you want. Keep that fluidity. Also, give it a shot to eat mostly plant-based sometime in this month. Give yourself a bracket where you only eat plant-based foods, just to feel how it is through your body. It's not for everyone. It's not a big push, just a little suggestion. Also, sleep more than you've slept before, over the 5, 6, 7 hours. Become a baby again. Try to get 9 hours one night. Have your spouse or whatever say, hey, I'm going over here. I'm going to get this 9 hours tonight. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Or just a little bit more than you have before. Why not? Also, please stress less. If that means read a book, if that means be with your friend who makes you laugh. See how that loops back around again? Love that. And also, you know what? Love harder than you have before. Keep that as your mental and physical compass. look at love first. And lastly, but of course, not the smallest concept, please check yourself and your assumptions before you wreck yourself. My name is Chase Stilgray. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Colleen. I will definitely have you back soon. And everybody have a spectacular day on purpose. And remember, freedom is failing. Peace.
Thank you, Chase. Thank